What I want to do is learn from this position with just my lead arm to go from here to where my arm gets 45 degrees. So here's like 0, here's 90, right? So I'm at 45 degrees. And what I want to feel is the top part of my wrist bone is the part that hits the driver. Notice how my knuckles and my fingertips are curled under towards me, right? Now, I didn't make this up, okay? This is not like an Eric invention of this lead wrist flexion. This has been going on for forever. People have been teaching this, and it just works so good. It's something we can all do, just like this, boom, top of my wrist bone. Regardless of your swing style, height, swing speed, whatever, we can all learn to create some lead wrist flexion. And you can hit the ball really good even with not perfect body mechanics. I want to talk to you today about live view golf. Now, you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live view is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. Hey guys, Eric here outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, we're going to talk about what I think is legitimately my best tip of all time to you to help you hit the ball better, that I think applies to everyone. Now, before we dive into that, what that tip is and the drills you can do, two quick things. One, if you are interested in coming for in-person lessons, I would love to have you here in Bethlehem, PA. We'll put a link down in the description down below for that. If you can't make it for in-person coaching, would still love to work with you online. You could send me your swings. We'll analyze them for you. We'll put a full practice plan together for you at cogornogolf.com. Really, regardless of where you're at, I feel really confident we can help all of you take your game to the next level. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about, like I said, the best tip, my legitimate best tip. I know we do videos sometimes. We got to throw the YouTube title in. You got to play the game, right, to make sure enough of you all are watching. Speaking of the game, if you guys do like this video, go ahead and click that little like button. You can do the subscribe, leave a comment down below. But you got to play the game sometimes with YouTube, right? You got to have some titles that are a little outlandish. This one, I think, is legitimately, looking back on my coaching career, the best tip of all time. What is that best tip of all time? That is to learn how to get your lead wrist to work properly through the hitting area and the follow through. Now, I know a lot of you have heard you're supposed to bow or flex or have a flat left wrist. Well, I'm going to show you a bunch of cases here in this video on the screen as we go of some players who really have learned to overdo the lead wrist bowing. And that's my best tip. Learn to overdo the lead wrist bowing. Okay, that could be the whole video here, but we're going to go over a little bit of what I mean by that. But you'll see here, guys like Collin Morikawa, guys like Dustin Johnson, Tony Finau, and as you see their swings on here, they don't have a flat left wrist at impact like a lot of us prescribe, me included, right? Sometimes we oversimplify and say, hey, just get to flat left wrist. But that's not my best tip. My best tip is to learn how to overdo that and actually get yourself into a bowed or flexed position at impact. Now, two things. What does this do and what do I mean by that? I think the easiest way to see this, if we look at what a bowed or flex wrist is, I'm going to put this, now this might not turn out too well, but we're going to try this here. I'm going to put an alignment rod on my arm. Now, if I have my arm kind of straight or my wrist is flat, there's basically one angle there with my forearm and my hand. Okay, hopefully we can see that. Now, as I get my left hand and I bow it, you see there's an angle created between my forearm and my hand. There's a little bit of a gap there, right? There's a little bit of a gap or a wedge there. And that little gap or wedge is really what I'm looking to create. Now, I create that gap or that wedge, and I want to have that and a lot of that through the hitting area, okay? So this forearm here and this hand, if I just have it flat, there's no gap between my hand and the rod. When my hand goes this way, that's bowing or flexion. That's what we want. Now, I want, when we do this, to have a little bit of it going back so you can learn the drill here. I want to continue to have, I want you to have more of a gap at impact and even more of a gap into the follow through. Now we're going to have done a swing analysis of Collin and DJ, and we'll talk through this more legitimately, but what I want you to see there as we're going is, that was a good grab, is that my lead hand from here, I want you to increase the bow to impact, increase it through impact into the follow through until the arm's at about this 45. You'll see in their swings, that's about when that's going to go towards flat. Now, I understand, okay, I understand that the lead wrist in reality goes from flexion into extension. I understand that it does that. Okay, maybe we get a close up here. I understand that this doesn't actually go this way. The point is, for most of us watching, we don't have to worry about that problem. We're going too much this way too early to start with. We're back here, right? We're back here. They're up here. So do we need to worry about having it too bowed or too flex or too long? No, that's what I want you to train in. It's not correct. I want you to train in over bowed, too long, too much. Now, other little caveat here, and we'll get to the drill here eventually. What does this actually do? Okay, if I stood here at setup position, my hand's inside left thigh, the arm and the club are roughly in a straight line. My left wrist probably has a slight amount of extension to it due to my grip. Now, as I get my arm to 45, I'm going to increase the bow. I'm getting my arm to 45 degrees in front of me, and I'm increasing the bow, right? So you see the angle between my forearm and my wrist there has increased. That's the movement pattern, here to here, here to here. Now when I do that with my little deal here on the club, what does that do? It lowers my loft. Can you see that angle where how that gets lower there? That lowers my loft. Look how much shaft lean I have when I do that, okay? Now some people would tell you that you shouldn't feel like you shove your hands forward, and I think you should. I think it's exactly what you should do, is learn how to have your arm forward and create lead wrist flexion. Now, we're going to pause for a second. I'm going to show you the main drill that I want you to do and how to train this, and then we'll talk about how to start a routine where you can actually start hitting some balls. All right, guys, so here's the main drill or way I would train this. Now, I typically, right, I've been doing this drill with people for like 10 years or so. It's always like the go-to thing to learn to hit it solid. I usually have a wall here, okay? Obviously I don't have a wall here, so we're placing that with my bag. I'm gonna use my golf bag. You can use your golf bag. Got my driver here. What I wanna do is learn from this position with just my lead arm to go from here to where my arm gets 45 degrees. So here's like 0, here's 90. Right? So I'm at 45 degrees. And what I want to feel is the top part of my wrist bone is the part that hits the driver. Notice how my knuckles and my fingertips are curled under towards me, right? Now, I didn't make this up, okay? This is not like an Eric invention of this lead wrist flexing. It's been going on for forever. People have been teaching this, and it just works so good. It's something we can all do, just like this, boom, top of my wrist bone. Regardless of your swing style, height, swing speed, whatever, we can all learn to create some lead wrist flexion. And you can hit the ball really good even with not perfect body mechanics, right? That's the piece that I think is so important. So upper part of your wrist hits the bag, bottom of your fingertips towards you. Okay, so now as I actually begin the hitting here, I want you to do this a specific way. I'd like to see you create a little bit of the flexion. Again, here's my forearm line. My wrist is behind that. So I've done a little bit of the flexing part in the takeaway because I want that to be preset in our first little part here. Now I'm going to feel like I increase that flex to impact and I increase it past impact. How far do I do it? I want to do it to the point where my arm's about 45 degrees. Now notice here, here's my forearm line, would point way out here, and my wrist line is underneath that. And what I'm going to start with here is punching pitching wedge. Now how I always coach this is you have to learn to create a little flex here, and this is just for the drill, increase the flex to here. Create a little flex to here, increase it to here. And now I'm gonna hit little pitching wedges that should go, you know, whatever, I would say 100 yards, but just little shorty. So I'm gonna create the bow, increase it to here, and I'm gathering that same feel to hit these little shots. And what you should feel when you do it is the ball should come off the face hotter. They should feel really, really solid compared to normal. And you're feeling this motion. I'm feeling this. Then eventually we'll start to get the body motions working in with it. But in the beginning, I'm just feeling this. When I train this, I would normally do 1 to 2 rehearsals with a wall so I could really feel that. And again, I'm increasing the bow. I know that's not legitimately what happens, but I'm increasing the bow for my feel. So we'll do one more little half one, create it going back, increase my bow on the way through. That's an over exaggeration. Now, if you're someone who, again, has any sort of flip, early release pattern where it looks like this back here, I guarantee when you do this and you film yourself, you'll get the shaft leaning forward. Again, we got to do the body motion second, but you'll get the shaft leaning forward. What am I going to do? Same thing. I'm going to create a little bit of flexion here early. I'm going to increase it to here. Create a little bit early, increase it. I'm pretending the wall's there, and I'm looking like those guys through impact. Top of my wrist bone more towards the target than my knuckles. Create a little bit of wrist bow early. Increase it through impact. And again, what I'm looking to feel is the ball coming off the face hotter. You might notice that it launches a smidge lower, but you should see more distance. I mean, when you do this correctly, you should be taking your normal 7-iron impact that maybe looks like this, and it should look like this. I mean, you should be taking loft off of that. Ball should be going farther than normal. So same thing, creating a little bit early, getting to here. Creating a little bit early. I mean, that's about as solid as I can hit it. Now, keep in mind when you're doing this, there's 2 parts. There's the wrist going and flexing this way, but also the arms forward, right? The arm has come off my body into the follow through, 45 degrees, boom. So I do 2 rehearsals, create it to there, create it. And again, once I get used to doing this exaggerated drill, of course I'm gonna eventually let it go. This is just a drill to exaggerate. Some people are gonna not like that. Eric, that's not what really happens. No, I know that's not what really happens, but this is just a drill here. Let's do that one more time. Awesome. So if I could train one thing in, I've never trained this into someone and worked on it and not had them hit the ball really well. You could do the same thing with your wedges, you can do the same thing with your driver. I've never had it not work really well. Now, the caveat to this, as you go, is you're supposed to build it in short to long. Like this is gonna be a 10-15 minute video where I just went through everything fast. You should probably, with your pitching wedge, learn how to do this. Learn how to do this. Arms away from my body, creating increased flexing first. With your pitching wedge, little shots until you can hit those pure, then go 3/4, then go full, then go up your clubs. But I do think if you're looking for something here that you can go play really good golf with right away, create the bow here. Once you get good with this, then you can gradually create a little bit more bow to left arm parallel. You just lengthen the swing and increase the bow the whole time. We'll see in the DJ and Collin analysis that they do a lot of it in transition, but for us, I want you to learn the bottom motion. So one more time, create a little bit of flex or bow back here, increase it, arm gets to 45, 2 rehearsals with a wall ideally, if you're practicing next to a wall. And then I'm feeling that motion, I'm feeling this motion through impact. So that's my #1 tip. I'm telling you that'll work. If you don't hit it solid, send me a video, work with someone to figure out how, because that will work. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you like the video, want to support the channel, go ahead and click that like button down below. It really helps us out. Also click the subscribe button. Leave a comment what you thought in this video, maybe some topics you would like to see. All that action really helps support our channel, and we would appreciate that. If you did like this video and want to see the analysis I did on Collin versus DJ, topics very relevant to this video, we'll put that card on the screen. If you'd like to work with me, have me analyze your swing, show you a little bit more of how to do these drills, I would love to work with you at cogornogolf.com.